Alright, we've got the 1109 spoilers, and this chapter is absolutely crazy. I'm sure you guys have been hearing all the hype about it. We've been waiting for it, and we have it now. It's mainly because of what's happening at the end of this chapter, and what's happening is the freaking Gorosei are showing up to Egghead. All 5 of the Gorosei are at Egghead now, and they are facing off against Luffy. I know wild stuff, and we will get into it, but of course, we have to go over all the other spoilers coming out of this chapter first. So, first of all, there's like this new mini-story starting, on the cover pages of the chapter, and we're going back to Wano Kuni. People are relating this cover story to the return of Kaido, because we will see Onegashima sinking into the water, which confused me a bit, because how could that happen? Because the last time we saw Onegashima, it fell just outside of Flower Capital. It's possible that Lelouch's disappearance may have caused some changes in the sea level of Wano due to the tsunami that occurred. The water might have reached beneath the Flower Capital. Alternatively, the earthquake may have caused the ground to rupture, resulting in Onegashima falling into the water. So the chapter begins with VegaPunk's message where he's about to deliver the truth of the world to people, for which he tells people to prepare and says to set up his Den Den Moshi in video feed so that they can see this message. And brother, we see a scene where many people from all over the place are hurriedly trying to on Dan Mushi so that they can see this message. Here, we also see Morgan, Vivi, and Wapol who are listening to this message, meaning that this message is not from the brain of VegaPunk, but rather from Dan Dan Moshi, through whom he is attempting to reach the entire world. So he must have developed such technology that all the Dan Dan Moshi work on a call at the same time, and no one can cut off this call, just like the government did with the Sabo. Here, we also see the other Gorosei who received this message, and they are a bit worried about where this message is coming from, and where is Saturn, and why he is not stopping him. But they don't know that their old man Saturn had been kept in check by our Luffy, and Luffy is going to attack him here. But since Saturn has regenerative powers and has already recovered from Luffy's last attack, so Luffy is trying to think how this guy is not taking damage from my attack. Meanwhile, Kizaru also tried to attack Luffy by releasing himself from his bonds. But even in the giant form, Luffy is dodging all his attacks here. So overall, Luffy versus Kizaru and Saturn's battle we're going to see throughout the chapter, where for now, showing Luffy's strength because beating an Admiral and a Saturn together is not a joke. Moreover, Saturn also has regenerative powers. So Luffy doesn't waste time thinking about it, and he crushes Kizaru and Saturn with his big hands. As a result, both of them are flattened like pancakes in a funny way, just like we see in Tom and Jerry. It means Luffy is using Looney Tunes powers here. So Luffy is peeling off both of them like he did with Kaido, flattening them like pancakes. But Luffy doesn't stop there. He grabs them and throws them quite far. However, we see the same thing again. Saturn has regenerated, and then Saturn tries to attack Luffy again, where these back and forth battles continue within this chapter, which makes Saturn annoyed, and Bro does something here that was absolutely unexpected. Here, Saturn is performing some kind of summoning, and we see circles here that we saw when Saturn arrived, from which all the Gorosei will come out. Well, I can't believe these spoilers, especially the one about the Gorosei part. I mean, is it possible that these guys will come to fight against Nika? These guys are kind of Emu's dogs and hold significant authority. So suddenly, introducing them all and showing their powers all at once would really shake things up. I don't know, brother. It sounds too dangerous. If this really happens, it would be like Luffy versus 5 Gorosei and 1 Admiral. That's a bit too much for our Luffy. But if the other Gorosei come here, then we'll get to see their forms and powers, which would give the Egghead arc a crazy turn. The Straw Hats were supposed to get out of Egghead quickly, but if the Gorosei enter Egghead, then the Egghead arc will become even longer, which means Zoro and Sanji joining Luffy is quite important. Well, I don't trust the other Gorosei coming here. Maybe it's not the Gorosei, but the Holy Knights, or perhaps Saturn is summoning some kind of beast to fight. But if that happens, it's a whole new level of power where the Gorosei can teleport and summon anything. Well, these are just some thoughts on the chapter. There will be more excitement inside the chapter, so if you want to watch the video, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon too. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.